Okay, good morning. My name is
Morning.
Carol Ray, and I'm the owner and founder of NotaryToPro.com. And I have some guests here. We're going to be discussing split signings. And Patricia, you were one that was very concerned about learning about this split signings. Tell me what you know so far and what you're concerned about.
I'm concerned about making sure that I'm doing it right. What I've learned so far, I was thrust into my first split signing by finding out from the client that his wife was going to sign her documents, NBS, non-borrowing spouse, with another, notary. So I wanted to make sure the places where I had to notarize it, I was doing it right. This would have been my first time as a split, notarization. And I wind up calling title as well as the loan officer, who they all apologized later for not having told me. I learned, but I don't feel secure. So I wanted to come back to my base, which is you, so that I can make sure that I'm doing things right. The loan officer asked me not to scratch off anything and just go ahead and notarize a person in front of me. And I told him I couldn't do that, because it has to be before me. I'm putting my seal on there. So we finally agreed to not to scratch out on the signatory line, but in the affidavit where it says husband's name, what he was, and the wife's name, I could line her name out, put my initial and the date. They were satisfied with that because they said they were going to merge the documents together. That was the first thing to me. But because of my training, I know I could not have them both there and not have scratched out anything and notarized it. I would have done a falsehood. So that's where I was, and it went through, I guess. Nobody has called me back, but I want to be a little bit more confident in split signings.
Mm-hmm. And split signings are not difficult at all. The one thing that you have to remember is that you're just doing a signing with one person in front of you, or two or three, and there's somebody else that's a part of this transaction, but they're signing in another location, probably another state. So when you get the documents, one of the things that you'll want to know is, first of all, if you're the first notary on the transaction, or if you're the second notary. You have an advantage if you're the first notary, because when you get those documents, they are clean. There's no other signatures on it. There's no other notarization on it. You have the documents just as you do any other transaction. You're going to be, working with that borrower or that buyer, and you're going to be handling it as if there was nobody else involved. The only difference is that once you've completed it, then you have to send it on, usually directly to the next notary. But one of the things that you have to do in your notarial certificates, which is always the area usually down at the bottom of the page where you put your venue, which is where anybody know?
Where your
Feet are
feet are
planted.
planted.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got your venue. You have the name of the person that's appearing before you. You have the date, the usual information, and of course your stamp, your signature. Underneath your line, your name, comma, notary public. Okay, that's all standard, and you're in the process now of practicing that, learning it. That's going to be down pat in a few more signings. The only thing that's different that must be done is that you must line through the name of the people on the notarial certificate, not within the confines of the document. Like they have signature lines, like you're doing Bob Smith, he's in front of you, he's got a line to sign. Mary Smith has a line to sign, her name is underneath it. You don't touch that, but within the confines of your notarial certificate, you must put a line through the name of the party that is not appearing before you and initial it. Okay, if you send that back and you have not crossed off that name, it appears to everyone looking at that paperwork that both Bob and Mary appeared before you. Okay, if you are the second notary, then you get documents and you see you're signing Mary, but the person who signed Bob, all the notarial affidavits, certificates are in that package, but that person did not cross off his name. It makes it look like that other notary notarized both parties. So what you have to do in that case is to call whoever hired you, or if you have a good relationship with the title company, people that you're working with, you need to call them right away and let them know, do not call the other notary. It's not your place to do that. But if you call the title company or whoever's, has had given you the signing, and let them know, you could very well save a deal that could have gone down the toilet. Because let's say there's a rate lock on that, and now they have to send those documents back to the other notary to wait for all new acknowledgments and jurats, which is what's going to have to happen. The only time I've ever seen something happen that was a little different was actually not long ago, and they let it go through. And that was that the title company sent a letter to the other notary asking permission to make a change on a certificate. And of course, if I were the notary and I knew who I was talking to, I would allow them to do that. Whether that's something that's going to be accepted by every Secretary of the State, if it ever became an issue, I have no idea. I don't know. Another advantage to being the first notary for the documents is that, let that ring a minute. Okay, good. Is that you get all of the original acknowledgments. So depending on what state you're in, you can use those acknowledgments, unless your state's very particular and they demand that you use the one, the state that you're in. But you get to use all of the ones that are in the package. You don't have to substitute. If you're the second notary on it, now you have to put together the acknowledgments and everything to attach to the documents. So does that make sense?
Yes, I had just raised my hand. I had a question and a statement. I was the first notary, and the second notary was happening, or the notarization was happening at the same day, but at a different location. I was going to his job and another notary was going to her job. She was the non-borrowing spouse, so she wouldn't have all the documents he would have to sign. And then there were places all through the mortgage for, like an initial. So there was a lot of initialing going on. And there were a lot of acknowledgments, and you had the places where you didn't have to notarize, but it had to be signed by her. So I was fortunate this time that I was the first notary. And I guess they sent the other person a package as well the same day. But again, I did call title. I did talk to loan officers, and I've learned to do that very well. And they apologized, and it looked like I was doing everything that they agreed to. So, woe is me if I get to be the second one, huh?
Yeah, you're going to run into all kinds of situations, though. And it's funny because they do oftentimes have two separate sets of documents because they might be signing on the same day. And then other times you're using the same documents, and that's when it gets a little tricky, when you're using the same documents. But just always remember, cross through the name of the person who is not appearing before you. Hello, iPhone. We
Thank you.
hear
That's not
you.
me. That's not me.
No, it just says iPhone. Who is this? Does it say anything in the chat?
Sound like a pencil sharpener or something.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, it's not in the, no, they're not in the chat, but hello, iPhone, welcome. I was just trying to speak, I think. I don't know. Let's see. I muted it because we're hearing noises. If you wish to speak, if you can hear me, you can just look down in the lower left corner of your screen and you can click on the unmute there, the little speaker button. Angela, how about you? Do you have any questions about it?
I don't have any questions. I just wanted to jump on so that I could expose myself to the information because I have not encountered a split signing yet. And just in case it comes up, I wanted to make sure, you know, I knew how to handle it. But this is very good information to have because I had thought about it in the past and, you know, I would have probably before today have been a little bit leery about accepting a split signing because, like I said, I've never faced that situation before. So that's why I wanted to jump on because that's something I hadn't encountered yet.
With my husband, Bill. He doesn't know I'm doing this. We're talking about split signings. I have some people on that wanted to know about it. We're going to record it, put it in the library. Oh, it's about time. How about you, Tamara? Is it Tamara or Tamara? I don't know. Hello, are you there?
Is she the one with the baby?
No, that's Banky.
Okay.
Yeah, she's good. Okay, and Patricia, you're okay now? You
I'm okay
understand?
now. I know which certificate I would use. I know exactly. I took my notes. If I'm the second one, what to do, how to do in terms of my notarial certificate and how to annotate it. Do have a question. So if I receive the documents and I'm the second signer, am I stapling that to the original document? My certificate and what the borrowers or the non-borrowing spouse?
That brings up a really good point. And we have them in the library.
Okay.
There are what I call separate acknowledgements. And this is different than just a regular acknowledgement because it is on its own page, but down below, it also has the verbiage on there that this this acknowledgement belongs to another document, the name of the document. Let's say it is an attachment to a grant deed, okay? It will say this acknowledgement is to be attached to and belongs to the grant deed dated so-and-so. And if you want to go further, you know, you can even put down the name of the grantors to the grantees so that can't be used for anything else. Never send out a separate acknowledgement or jurat on its own because they could use that for anything. And if they send you one, if you actually get any in the package, which does happen, there are lenders, they like to have one just in case. No, that doesn't fly. You don't know what that's going to be attached to. So you could be doing some real harm there if you allow that to happen. So I suggest that people carry these separate acknowledgements with them. And if you're working with documents that are from out of state, you can generally use the acknowledgements and jurats, any notarial certificates that are being recorded in that state. California is really weird because we have really tough laws and they're very specific. But if I have documents from out of state, and I'm in California, most of the time I can use the out of state documents, even though we have this special verbiage on our notarial certificates. So in the library, you'll find those acknowledgments. I would print them out and keep them some with you. You'll always, be able to use them.
Thank you for that, Carol. I wanted to know that. I'll go and print some out today.
Yeah, everybody should always carry extra acknowledgments and jurats with them too, because you never know what you may not be provided with in the package, or it could be incorrect and not the way we do things. Lenders aren't perfect by far. How about you, Angela? Any burning questions about this kind of stuff?
Not as of yet. I think I'm just going to, continue to pop in on these. Carol, it was such a good idea when I ran across that on Facebook, as topics come up, because you can't possibly come up with every question. Like right now, I don't have any questions, but maybe a couple days from now, something will come up. But it's good that you're going to have these periodically so that we can kind of pocket our questions until your next meeting, or kind of throw out those suggestions. So maybe that would be for an upcoming Zoom meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm looking forward to being able to jump on more of these, because right now I don't have a question, but who knows what I may encounter, in the next few days, a week or so.
And I was thinking, because TNT, we started off this way, and I was really, really nervous about it. And I'm a little nervous right now, just starting something new and,
Right.
looking at myself and, sitting in my home and everything. But I was thinking about this, that on TNT, we answer a lot of questions. We cover a lot of material, and I really enjoy it. We all do. The three of us are very different. I call myself the foundation. They take you to another heights, but I'm so excited. We're posting something. I think today it's going to go on to the library, the graduates library, that Laura is making, giving all of us access to all of these videos that she is doing, all of the training that she's doing, which is the general notary work, the working with the attorneys, all of this stuff has its own separate training. And she's going to be giving the graduates 15% discount on what is already a very reasonable fee to have access to those pages. And I'm really going to push it. I don't get anything from it, no money or anything, but just the ability for my graduate access rate, because that's going to help you guys expand your businesses like crazy, really. And then I've got a couple people coming that are going to be teaching some other things on there. Have any of you explored the different possibilities of different things that you can do within that graduate's website?
I've actually, Carol and Patricia and whoever else is on here, I have also expanded into the general notary work. And the very first, when Laura first came out with the library and gave us an opportunity to become a part of that, and I just knew it was going to be a lifesaver for me. So I jumped on it right away, even though I didn't, I wasn't even thinking about doing general notary work at the beginning. I just knew that that was going to be a resource that I would really, really, value, and that would be such a huge help for me. Because like I said, I was, brand new starting out, and you're going to have questions. And I've already, had the mentorship with you. So I knew that by Laura covering this general notary work, that was just going to put the icing on the cake, because you have kind of one half of the business covered, and then I would learn and you know, gather materials from her library as well. So I just knew, I saw the benefit of it from the very beginning. I'm glad I jumped on board.
I'm really happy she's doing this. And she and I had a conversation when we first started TNT. It was Bill and I that started it, and she loves mentoring. So, and I told her we were trying to figure out ways that she could grow her business where she's actually like traveling less, because she works a lot with the NNA. She's still teaching, doing a lot of stuff, plus all of her own. So I brought her aboard with TNT with the idea that she would get her out there to let her be known as a really good mentor, so she could kind of ease into that slot. And it's really taking off for her now. So I'm really happy because she has so much value to add to everybody. That, I mean, she's just a great gal. I really care a lot about her, and to see her skills being used to their best, you know, ability is really, really good. So, well, I think that, what do you think? Everything good on this one? Do you think we should go ahead and cut this off, and I'll post this in the library? Patricia, are you still there?
I'm still here. I wouldn't leave early for nothing. Thank you so much for this, Carol. Angela, it was great to meet you. And if you ever need to reach out, I do general notary work too. I thought I would hate it because here in Illinois, all you get is $1. Then I had a mentor to show me exactly how that is. And I don't even charge for the notary. What I do, I charge for the distance. I give them the receipt. I talk to them. I ask them questions about what I'm coming out for. And it's so many people who are shut in who can't come out that really appreciate having a notary to come. And that's easy, fast, quick money right then when you're sitting. And I love it. One day I made $200 in about 3 calls. I'm like, yay for me. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So again, what you won't see online in print, and I do understand that, because nobody wants to give out their process or their fees because maybe they can't. But I don't charge for notary. I charge for the mobility and the distance. And that has worked
Patricia,
out.
that makes so much sense to me. I can
Yeah.
definitely understand why you went that route, because that just makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And
And
like
then
you said, we can only get $1.
That, right. I can work that around my other assigned task. Because they're flexible. And then I'm flexible. I can zip and zap in between, you know, other appointments and get that taken care of. And with the seniors, I'm very gentle. I'll make a copy for them. I'll bring it back, print it out of the document. I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to them so that they can have a copy once they mail it off to wherever it has to go to. And they like that. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's very beneficial, especially like you said, there's so many people that are, you know, sick, unable to kind of get out and get to us, you know, or to an office. So that, I'm sure, is a lifesaver for them.
We're an alternative to a currency exchange where that's so open.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not personal. And then it gives the families a little bit more comfort. I've never gone to a senior's house where a family person wasn't there, which I appreciate. And they help the person. And I bought the little guy to help the seniors with their signature. So that'll keep it on the line, and they appreciate that. It's for the visually impaired, but I use it for any and everybody who may have a shaky hand, and that helps them. So, thank you,
ladies,
Carol, for this opportunity.
I'm going to stop the recording.
All right.
And I'm going to post the link on Notary Pro Leads on the Facebook group once it's up and running, and it'll be in the library.
I can't wait for the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you for participating. And let me know what ideas you have, if there's anything in particular that you'd like to discuss on the next one. Okay?
Thank you, Carol. Bye-bye.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.